It's a good thing you don't have to go to work until 10, right? Not
Yeah.
7. Okay. Because if it was 7 a.m., I'd be like, oh, damn. I'm glad it's 10 a.m. All right. So our movie that we got to see is No Other Choice. It's directed by Park Chan-wook. You might know him from The Handmaiden, Old Boy, or the vampire movie Thirst. I haven't seen Thirst, but The Handmaiden, amazing film. Old Boy, amazing film. The synopsis of this is, after being unemployed for several years, a man devises a unique plan to, no, it's not years, it's months actually. That's a typo. It should say several months. After being unemployed for several months, or was it years? Did you feel like that
No,
was
he said
years
it
or
was
months?
3 months.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was months. After being unemployed for several months, a man devises a unique plan to secure a new job, eliminate his competition. All right, and let's check out the trailer. Tony, man, let me know if you need me to pause this.
No, let it go.
심호흡하세요. 나는 좋은 사람이다. 실직은 하고 싶어서 안 게 아니다.
여기 적힌 것들 자제하기. 아빠 취직할 때까지. 나 테니스 포기. 내 차. 그리고 우리 집.
어?
Oh, I forgot he did Decision to Leave also. I forgot that was him.
Oh.
You remember watching Decision to Leave, right?
Nope.
You didn't watch that with me? Maybe Drisel watched with me. It was the guy, he was like a detective and he was trying to find out about this murder. If this woman had murdered her husband or was it her lover? I can't remember, but it was about whether this woman, it was kind of reminded me of what's the movie with Sharon Stone?
Basic Instinct?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Basic Instinct, but less sexy. It wasn't as sexy as Basic Instinct.
Nope.
I thought you watched Decision to Leave.
Nope.
Okay.
몇이나 될까, 경쟁자가?
우리 남편에 비하면 영 인간 벼락 같은 거 안 만나.
심호흡하세요.
Now you notice what the wife says? I'll roll that back for you. He's going through all these things. Let me see. Oh, I rolled it back too far.
Oh, man.
There it is.
취직할 때까지. 나 테니스 포기. 내
No more
차.
tennis. Get rid of my car. We might have to sell our house.
어?
The visuals were great in this too.
몇이나 될까?
See, how many other candidates will there be? And in this is the scene I was telling you about, Tony Man. If you looked in the background, all of those men in that lobby were waiting to interview for the same position,
경쟁자가?
indicating that the job market was scarce for his specific profession.
우리 남편에 비하면 영
This is different.
인간 벼락 같은 거
And then the wife says, can he get hit by lightning? And that's when he gets this idea.
안 만나.
See the look on his face? Wait a minute. What if they did die?
하세요.
나는 내 식구들 입에 밥을 넣어주기
Wow,
위해
you got all this.
무슨 짓이든 한다.
It's called subtext and visual storytelling. It's that whole thing of show, don't tell. It's showing you, and you have to connect the dots yourself.
Hmm.
어쩔 수가 없다.
Now, if this actor looks familiar to you, that's Lee Byung-hun. He's from I Saw the Devil, Squid Game, and he also did a voice on K-pop Demon Hunters. He played like the main like underworld demon. You only hear his voice. You don't really see the character. You just hear his voice. But that's Lee Byung-hun. You remember him? You showed me I Saw the Devil.
I did. We saw it in a movie
Yeah.
theater.
And of course, I think most people know about Squid Game.
특별한 일 없으셨습니까?
그 두 분이 사라지셨어요.
I don't know if it was the best film of the year, but it was very good.
That other guy was from Squid Game too.
Oh, the other guy was from Squid Game too?
I told you that. You didn't hear me?
No,
The
I
one that
thought
was-
you were I thought you were talking about the main character. Which guy?
No,
This-
the one that was dancing with his wife.
Let me pause it on it.
특별한 일 없으셨습니까?
그 두 분이 사라지셨어요.
Right there. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. You did say that he was from Squid Game.
Don't you
did.
remember
You
he
said-
played the?
You said he played the trans woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. Every time I see this actor, he looks totally different.
And wasn't he in that Miss Moon show?
He might have been. I will look that up. That was a very slapstick scene when they were fighting over the gun.
Wow.
Did you notice how many times someone in the movie would say the exact phrase, "I have no other choice"?
Yeah.
Mhm.
면접 잘 봤어?
Mhm.
All right. What are your thoughts on No Other Choice while I look up that actor's information?
I'm glad I'm glad we saw it in the daytime, because I probably would have fell asleep on it. Yes, people, I did not enjoy this movie at all. Like, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. I thought it was shot beautifully. I liked the camera work, because I guess they were using those 4G, like not 4K or whatever, so it
Mhm.
looked beautiful. But also, always whenever I watch a Korean movie or an Asian movie, Japan or whatever, like an action movie, they always it always looks very nice the way they light them.
Yes.
This one was good like that. Camera wise, story wise, I didn't know what the fuck was going on at all. I literally was like, huh, okay. So is he
You
gonna
didn't
kill
know-
these people or not? No, you obviously took a lot more out of this than I did,
Mhm.
because I did not. I was just sitting there going, "Oh, I'm glad Lady Shasha is watching this," because I didn't. I would have waited till it came on TV, but that's me. So yeah.
Well, like I said, a lot of it was you had to read the contextual clues because it's very much visual storytelling. It's basically about, well, let me go with my notes first. This movie is basically a dramedy. It's a mixture of drama and slapstick comedy. The lead character does a lot of acting with his whole body because he gets himself into very dangerous situations. Most of which happen because he's not a hitman, so he's not used to trying to eliminate people. So he often barely succeeds. Like, he mostly fails at trying to bump off his competition because he's in competition for the same job. And the reason why he's in competition for the same job is because the factory, he works for a paper factory, and the paper factory is laying people off, and he's one of the people that got laid off. And the reason why the paper factory is laying people off is because they're switching to automation. And one of the things he's told by his boss is that it's a dark factory. And he's like, what does that mean? And he says the robots and the AI don't need the lights on to work. So the factory, we turn the lights off and we save money that way also. And so in a paper factory, it's mostly machines and automation. And so there's so many people trying to compete for the one job, which is just pretty much managing and observing the mechanical workers. Now you just need one person there just to make sure that the robots and the AI are working, basically. And so he figures the only way he can secure this position is to take out his competition. So he basically does that. He tries, you see in the first scene where that man is walking down the stairs and he's standing outside the building, and then his character goes on top of the building with a flower pot and he's going to drop it on his head to eliminate him. In that particular scene, he doesn't end up doing it. He loses his nerve to do that, but basically that's the premise of the movie. He's trying to eliminate his competition. That's why you see that picture in the top center. Those are all resumes. In South Korea, your picture is attached to your resume, so they know what you look like. And so he was comparing his resume to the other applicants. The way he got their resumes is he made up a fake job listing and put it in a fake magazine that he made. He sent it to them, so they all sent their resumes to him so he could see what they had on their resume that he might not have on his resume. That's how he got their resumes. And so he went by systematically trying to eliminate each one of the men that were also up for the job until he was the only one left to get the job. But then at the end, when he finally gets the job, it's so lonely. And the two visuals that show how lonely it is one visual of him going to work, and it's his car and maybe one other car on the highway, and the rest are all trucks, all 18-wheeler trucks that are hauling lumber for the paper factories or other supplies for other factories. It's all 18-wheeler trucks and two cars in rush hour traffic. So it's just him and one other person, probably another person, going to their factory to oversee the robots. And then when he gets to the factory, because he's the only employee, it's also very lonely, and it's dark because, you know, the machines, like the guy said, robots don't need light. So he's in a factory by himself on the floor. And that's pretty much the ending to the movie. If you see his wife there, if she looks familiar, you may have seen her in Crash Landing Into You and A Moment to Remember. That's Son Ye-jin. She's a very famous actress. Like, this movie is filled with a cast of famous actors. Oh, let me look up that person that you said was also on Squid Game.
Park Sung-hoon.
His name is Park. Let's see here.
He was also in The Glory.
I'm looking for his name. Oh, there it is. Park Si-hoon. Park Hee-soon. Sorry, I said it backwards. Park Hee-soon.
Or maybe it wasn't him. Because I'm looking at his...
I'm looking at it now. I don't see...
No, I don't either.
I don't see The Glory on here for him. He was in Squid Game. He absolutely was in Squid Game.
He was in The Glory then too.
Let me scroll down. Dr. Brain... Monstrum. He was in The Witch Part 1, Subversion.
Yeah, he was in The Glory.
I don't see, he's not listed, or at least on IMDb. But IMDb, you know, has sometimes has errors.
If you look where it says actor, upcoming, previous.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Night Fever, Squid Game, Drama Stage, TVN, My Son Died, Queen of Tears, The Kidnapping Day, Strangers, The Glory. KBS Drama Special, Distributors.
What are you looking on?
I'm on IMDb.
I'm also on IMDb, but I don't see it on... I'll take your word for it, because maybe I scrolled past it too fast.
Park Sung-hoon, yeah.
Or am I looking at the wrong person? Because you're saying Park Sung. I'm saying Park Hee-soon.
Park,
maybe I'm looking at...
S-U-N-G... H-O-O-N.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong person. I was looking at Park Hee-soon. I was looking at the wrong person. Because Park is kind of a common last name in South Korea. Yeah, I will go by what you're saying.
I don't think it's the same guy, though. It doesn't look like it's the same guy. But anyways, back to... So, yeah, you enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I did think it was a little bit long. I think they probably... What's the runtime on this? Because I feel like it felt a little bit long. 2 hours and 19 minutes. Yeah, I think they probably could have cut 20 minutes out of it, but then other people might not feel that way. I think, know what it is? It wasn't that it was too long. It was that my back started hurting because I don't love the chairs in Winter Park Regal, and that probably made me want to get out of the theater earlier because the way those chairs are. I had to take my coat and roll it up again and put it in the small of my back. And when I came home, I took a couple Advil because my back was hurting. It's the way that those chairs curve.
Yeah.
It hurts my back.
Yeah, they act
Even
like
though they're brand new chairs, it's just the shape of them. Or it's not good for my back. I think if I watched this at home, I probably wouldn't have felt that way because I could sit comfortably, you know?
I would have fallen asleep.
Yeah, you definitely would have fallen asleep.
It was very very slow.
It was very slow, but this movie is it's funny enough, is described as a caper, a dark comedy, a psychological thriller, and satire, and comedy, drama, thriller. Yeah, it's all of these things. I agree, it's all of these things. If you're going into it expecting it to be like Parasite, I think it would probably make a good double feature with Parasite, but to me, Parasite was a little bit more interesting of a movie. Whereas No Other Choice, I felt like maybe they needed to either go more comedy with it or go more drama with it. I feel like the dramedy didn't work because it wasn't funny enough to make me laugh, and it wasn't funny enough. So I feel like maybe they shouldn't have tried to do the slapstick stuff. It made sense for him to fail at trying to eliminate his competition from Earth. I should say he was trying to eliminate them from Earth. It made sense that he would fail at first because that's not what he does. He's not a hitman. But I don't know, that part of it didn't work for me. The standout. Oh, I should advance the slide because there was one character I felt was a standout in this. I'll show you on here. On the top right there, that is Yom Hairan, and Yom did Yom would be her last name. Hairan would be her first name. Hairan did an amazing job. You might know her also from The Glory. She played the battered wife that was helping the main character. She was also in Mask Girl, and she was in the movie Memories of Murder, which I hear great things about. I have not seen Memories of Murder, but I heard it was a great movie. Every time she shows up in a program or a movie, she just shines. And I love how she plays these characters that are so over the top. Very much like she's a character actress, but I love her in everything that she's in. She's in The Glory, she was helping Miss Moon. That's who she was. She was doing all kind of undercover spy stuff, and she did an excellent job in that. She did an excellent job in this. And one of the standout scenes is when she ends up getting into it with our lead character, and they end up having a tussle on the ground with a third character, her husband, over a gun. And that scene had to have been difficult to shoot because that looked like they was really fighting. Like they made it look like they were really fighting for that gun. There's a picture there in the center top that is the director sitting there. Of course, that's Park Chan-wook. And this, like Tony was saying, the cinematography in this was gorgeous. You can see that panel on the bottom, how it takes place in the fall, specifically in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the opening scene, the main character is he's having a barbecue, and the leaves are falling. They're like gently falling around him as he's barbecuing.
Now on with the show.
Maybe we should get into some trivia.
Yeah, the one standout person in this movie
Hmm.
with a little autistic girl.
Yeah, the daughter was great. I liked how they portrayed her. Let me um
That's
go
the only
back.
thing I cared about. You know that
Was the daughter?
was it? Is she gonna get her dogs back? That was it.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
loved her.
give a shit about the whole movie.
Yeah, I loved her character because yeah, one of the things that they had to do at the very beginning of the movie, when he lost his job, they downsized their cars to I think they traded their cars in for cars they didn't have to have payments on. And they couldn't afford, the mother said we couldn't afford to feed more mouths. So they sent the dogs to go live with the grandparents for the time being. And then they told the mother stopped playing tennis at the club and she stopped taking her dance lessons. They, tried to uh, tighten the purse strings basically. And the daughter was very distraught about the dogs leaving. Not just that, probably all the changes, because I think it's implied that she is on the autism spectrum. I like the portrayal of her character because they didn't make it a huge deal. They didn't,
No.
they didn't make it a negative, and they didn't make it like an added problem. It was just part of her character. She just behaved slightly differently due to her being on the spectrum. And I loved how they illustrated that. They illustrated it with certain things that she would be coloring that looked, odd to maybe a neurotypical person, but to her, there's a reason why she colored things the way she did. And we see that towards the end of the movie. She has a great ability to play the cello. She is almost, I wouldn't say she's nonverbal, but she has limited verbal, where she mostly speaks and just she'll repeat something that someone else has said, but she won't speak like conversationally. She doesn't speak conversationally. Um, and she likes to wear rain boots, whether it's raining or not raining. She always has her rain boots. So there's these certain behaviors that would identify her as being on the spectrum. But like I said, they just made it as a thing that exists, no different than if they wrote a child that had asthma or they wrote a child that had diabetes. It was just something that she has, but it doesn't impede her as a child. It doesn't add anything negative to deal with the family. Like there's never any point where the family feels like, oh, she's a burden. And I love that she's not ever treated like a burden. I think that's really great as far as the writing is for that little girl. And they don't make her act as though she's what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes when they try to portray characters that are neurodivergent, they go too far and have them act infantile or not able to manage their emotions, which as a person who is neurodivergent, there are times where we have more difficulty, but they don't make that a plot point. There's one point where she does cry, but it's completely expected that a child that has a dog and their dog is taken away from them, they're going to cry. Any child would do that. That's a normal behavior.
Right.
It wasn't, they didn't have her meltdown for no reason. I like that they paid attention to details. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. All in all,
Mhm.
would you watch it again?
I don't think I would watch it again, only because I feel like it's one of those things where once you see how it ends, like there isn't much of a reason to rewatch it.
Yeah.
And I do like how there was also a little bit of attention paid to deforestation. I think I wrote something specific in my notes about that. Yeah, I said that this is a meditation of the difficulty of the modern job market, capitalism, and deforestation. And that's exactly what I think it is. I thought they did a great job with that. It's definitely, it's not the most feel good movie. I think that's why I probably wouldn't watch it again, because it's not a feel good movie at all.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to make a note of the music in this. There's a lot of trot music. Do you know what trot music is?
No, I do not.
Trot music is one of the most popular forms of music in South Korea. it's the type of music it's been out long before what we in America call K-pop music, because in Korea they don't necessarily call it K-pop, they just call it probably just pop music. uh, we in America coined it K-pop, but they also have trot music. That's the type of music that you were hearing them listen to, like when the guys were home alone, and that specific sequence when he goes to try to assassinate that one guy and he turns up the music really loud. He was listening to trot music as well. And the guy, when he was driving home, the one that he went and had him drink all that liquor and they were smoking cigars, he was listening to trot music in the car as well. I don't know how I would describe trot music to an American. It would be similar to some of the music that like Tom Jones sang, like that "What's New, Pussycat?" Whoa, that's kind of an American version of trot music. I don't know what you call that type of music. Maybe that's still pop music. that Tom Jones stuff. It's not unusual to be loved. Anyway, that's that type of music. That's what they call trot music in South Korea, but it's super popular, especially with the older generation. Okay. Anything else in my notes? No, that's all I have in my notes for
I'm
this.
glad you liked it.
Yeah, I like movies that are very deeply contemplative, and I love the way the story was told. I think what makes me think of this as not super rewatchable are the scenes of him trying to eliminate people. I feel that Park Chan-wook doesn't do comedy well. If this was a straightforward thriller, I think would have been better than trying to infuse comedy, because I don't think he's great with comedy. Like if you watch The Handmaiden, that's straightforward. You watch Old Boy, straightforward. I've not seen Thirst, but I've heard great things about Thirst. I just don't think that Park Chan-wook is good with comedy so much.
No, you're probably right.
Because you could tell scenes that were meant to make you laugh, but they didn't make me laugh. Like this is,
I didn't laugh one bit.
Good attempt, but it's not funny. It could be cultural context that I'm missing. I'm not sure, but I felt that the scenes that were meant to be funny were not funny enough.
The only thing I thought about was that one scene when the woman, when his wife was talking to that guy. I was, geez, she's got big tits.
Oh wow,
big nipples. Because remember,
she took her bra off to try to flirt with the guy, to try to get him to not press, or to try to get his. Oh, let me set up the scene. There is a part in the movie where the son, seeing as they have financial difficulties, he devises a plan with his friend. His friend's father owns a cell phone store. And so his friend is like, well, I'll help you break into the store and you can steal the cell phones and resell them. So they devise this plan to go break into the store, but they end up getting caught and they outrun the police, but the police are able to identify them and they show up to the house later and arrest the little boy. And so the mother, she takes her bra off and wears, it's a regular shirt, but without a bra, her boobs look a little bit more, prominent.
Booby.
Yeah, and so she tries to flirt her way into getting the father whose store they broke into to not press charges on her son. And so at first he kind of is on the fence, but he still might press charges. But then her husband walks up and is like, "You better not press charges, or I'm going to tell your wife that the back of the store is where you take all your mistresses." And that's when he's like, "Yeah, I'll drop the charges."
Yeah.
Because he don't want his wife to find out about the mistresses in the back of the store.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah.
His wife was very pretty. And she was a good dancer too. Because there's a scene where, I mean, as you saw in the trailer, there's a scene of her dancing because she does dance lessons. But yeah, I think this one, I don't know whether it's going to be, I should look it up and see if has it been nominated for anything yet? Because it just came out this December. But so did that Timothy Chalamet movie. I forget the name of it. Just came out in December also.
Which one? When he's sucking the sperm out of the garbage can?
No, no,
Or
no. That was the year before last. I'm talking about
oh,
this past December. He has a movie where he's playing a ping pong player. What I've heard online is that it's described as baby boy for white people. I don't know. I've not seen it.
oh, because I've never seen Baby Boy either. So okay, I don't watch Tyrese movies. Well, I watched one,
You've seen him
and
in
that was Transformers.
yeah, I was gonna say Fast and Furious. Okay,
I
no,
know.
no other choice has been nominated and recognized in the current awards season, including being South Korea's Oscar submission, making the Oscar International Feature Film shortlist. It's earned Golden Globe nominations for Best Non-English Language Film slash Musical Comedy and Best Actor, and Critics' Choice nods for Adapted Screenplay and Foreign Language Film, and it's won multiple awards at the Blue Dragon Film Awards. So it says here Academy Awards, it's shortlisted for Best International Feature Film for the 98th Academy Awards. For the Golden Globes, is nominated for Best Motion Picture, Non-English Language Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Best Actor for Lee Byung-hun. It's in the Critics' Choice Award, it was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Foreign Language Film. And the Blue Dragon Film Awards, which is in South Korea, it won Best Picture, Best Director for Park Chan-wook, Best Actress for Son Ye-jin, and Best Supporting Actor for Lee Sung-min and more. I forgot to do trivia for No Other Choice, so I'm going to fill it in right here. Official submission of South Korea for the Best International Feature Film category of the 98th Academy Awards in 2026. During the Busan International Film Festival in 2009, it was announced that Park would remake Costa Gavras' 2005 film The Axe. Park would later clarify that he had read Donald Westlake's 1997 novel, The Axe, upon which the film was based, and decided to adapt it prior to knowing about Costa Gavras' film. However, the project was delayed when Park received the screenplay for his 2012 film Stoker. In 2012, Park said he planned to make the film his next project, but it still needed more work on the casting and attracting investors. During a live discussion with Costa Gavras at the 2019 Busan International Film Festival, Park told audiences that he was still working on his adaptation of Westlake's novel. The film was described by Park as a lifetime project, and that while he hadn't begun filming it yet, he wished to make this film as my masterpiece. Gavras, who still had the rights to the book, had helped Park to develop the project. The film was set to be an English language picture, with Don McKellar co-writing the script alongside Park. In March 2024, Lee Byung-hun and Son Ye-jin were announced as the film's leads. Park and Son previously worked together in the 2016 movie The Truth Beneath. Park revealed that the film would now be set in Korea. Principal photography began in August 2024. Filming wrapped in January 2025, lasting a total of 5 months. In August 2024, Park's frequent collaborators Lee Kyung-mai and Lee Ja-hae were also announced as writers on the project. In the costume dance scene, one of the male dancers is wearing an American football jersey and is dancing with a woman in a cheerleader outfit. His jersey is number 9 from South Central Louisiana State University, the fictional college from The Waterboy, 1998. The jersey's nameplate says Boucher, the name of Adam Sandler's character in the film, Bobby Boucher.
All right. Well, I have to agree with Tom up on the earlier. It really
Which
is.
one? Can you click on it?
Well, no, they both said it.
Can you
Doc
click on it?
Kaiju says, Doc Kaiju says it's turning into a 4-hour stream.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here soon.
And then Tom said yes, it's the longest one ever for you.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and as Doc Kaiju, they're like chit chatting back and forth, Tom and Doc, and Doc says I think Godzilla -1 was the last movie we saw in a movie theater, and has he seen the new concept? I don't know if it's a concept or if it's whatever, but there's Godzilla -0. is supposed to be coming out sometime this year.
Oh wow, that sounds
The
amazing.
sequel to
'cause
Godzilla -1.
I think Godzilla -1 is probably one of the best Godzilla movies ever made.
Well, they're making
It's-
Godzilla -0, so
I know, but Godzilla -1 is the only one that made me tear up. It's the only Godzilla movie that made me tear up and made me care so much about the human characters. It was done so well.
that was just a great movie.
Yeah, it
And
was.
I liked that Godzilla. They made it into a beast.
Yes.
But
And I love that
this
that
one-
line in the hospital. Is your war over? Yes.
but
I don't know. It's touched
rumor
me.
has it
Mhm,
that like they were showing some of the movie like a poster,
mhm.
and people were talking about they could see Mothra in the Godzilla -0.
Oh,
And I was like, oh
interesting.
shit, yeah. Or the color scheme or something. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, maybe.
Well, I
Only
think
if it
since
has
it
a
is
little miniature twins.
yes, the singing twins. With that, I think we better wrap it up. Because it's just about
that shit up,
12:30,
B.
and Tony Man has to get up to go to work early. And I just want to remind everybody that I will be on Aaron Pinn's channel on Sunday for our new episode of Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel. We will be talking about It Lives in the Attic as well as Hell is Full. And that's going to be Sunday night live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. In the UK, that'll probably be, let me see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m. probably in the UK. So, I'll just say UK because I'm not sure about all of Europe, but I know in the UK. So Sunday we will be talking about those movies, and I hope to see you all there. Again, that's on Aaron Pinn's channel. Go over there, hit the notify me button so that you know when we're going live. And
All
with
right.
that, I will say good night and thank you all for coming through. Did I miss
Good
anything in
night,
this?
folks.
Yes, absolutely.
See you next week.
Yep. If I entertained you, made you smile, or helped you pass the time, please consider supporting this channel so that I can do that more. Horror channels often get suppressed and demonetized, but you can help in 3 ways: by pledging a monthly contribution on Patreon, sending a one-time tip using your preferred financial app, or you could help for free by liking and commenting for the algorithm, and most importantly, sharing this video on your social media. Thank you so much.
Peace.